Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mufasa's Book Readings. My name is Julia, and I am your reader for today. We're still on our book, The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R Covey. Today, we're moving on to part two, which is titled Private Victory. Part two starts off with the first habit, which is be proactive. It starts off with a subheading which reads, The Principles of Personal Vision. There's a quote here by Henry David Thoreau. It reads, I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by conscious endeavor. I'll start with the reading. As you read this book, try to stand apart from yourself. Try to project your consciousness upward into a corner of the room and see yourself in your mind's eye reading. Can you look at yourself almost as though you were someone else? Now try something else. Think about the mood you are in. Can you identify it? What are you feeling? How would you describe your present mental state? Now think for a moment about how your mind is working. Is it quick and alert? Do you sense that you are torn between doing this mental exercise and evaluating the point to be made out of it? Your ability to do what you just did is uniquely human. Animals do not possess this ability. We call it self-awareness, or the ability to think about your very thought process. This is the reason why man has dominion over all things in the world, and why he can make significant advances from generation to generation. This is why we evaluate and learn from others' experiences as well as our own. This is also why we can make and break our habits. We are not our feelings. We are not our moods. We are not even our thoughts. The very fact that we can think about these things separates us from them and from the animal world. Self-awareness enables us to stand apart and examine even the way we see ourselves, our self-paradigm, the most fundamental paradigm of effectiveness. It affects not only our attitudes and behaviors, but also how we see other people. It becomes our map of basic nature of mankind. In fact, until we take how we see ourselves and how we see others into account, we will be unable to understand how others see and feel about themselves and their world. Unaware, we will project our intentions on their behaviors and call ourselves objective. This significantly limits our personal potential and our ability to relate to others as well. But because of the unique human capacity of self-awareness, we examine our paradigms to determine whether they are reality or principle-based, or if they are a function of conditioning and conditions. The social mirror. If the only reason we have of ourselves come from the social mirror, from the current social paradigm, and from the opinions, perceptions, and paradigms of the people around us, our views of ourselves is like the reflection in the crazy mirror room at the carnival. Have you seen, I hope you have seen that mirror. That mirror, it's either your head is too big or your body is too thin or your body is too big. So can you imagine that? You're never on time. Why can't you ever keep things in order? You see, you must be an artist. You eat like a horse. I can't believe you won. This is so simple. Why can't you understand? These visions are disjointed and out of proportion. They are often more projections than reflections, projecting the concerns and character of weaknesses of people, giving their input rather than accurately reflecting what we are. So true. This is so true. The reflection of the current social paradigm tells us we are largely determined by conditioning and conditions. While we have acknowledged the tremendous power of conditioning in our lives, to say that we are determined by it, that we have no control over that influence, creates quite a different map. There are actually three social maps, three theories of determinism widely accepted, independently or in combination, to explain the nature of men. Genetic determinism basically says your grandparents did it to you. That's why you have such a temper. Your grandparents had short tempers and it's in your DNA. It goes through the generations and you inherited it. In addition, you are Irish, and that's the nature of Irish people. Psychic determinism basically says your parents did it to you, your upbringing, your childhood experience essentially laid out your personal tendencies and your character structure. That's why you're afraid to be in front of a group. It's the way your parents brought you up. You feel terribly guilty if you make a mistake because you remember deep inside the emotional scripting when you were very vulnerable and tender and dependent. You remember the emotional punishment, the rejection, the comparison with somebody else when you didn't perform as well as expected. Environmental determinism basically says your boss is doing it to you, or your spouse, or that bratty teenager, or your economic situation, or national policies. Someone or something in your environment is responsible for your situation. Each of these maps are based on stimulus response theory we most often think of in connection with Pavlov's experiments with dogs. The basic idea is that we are conditioned to respond in a particular way to a particular stimulus. How accurately and functionally do these deterministic maps describe the territory? How clearly do these mirrors reflect the true nature of men? Do they become self-fulfilling prophecies? Are they based on principles we can validate within ourselves? And that is where today's reading will end. I think what I really took out of today's reading is the fact that we are aware and we have a choice to choose how is it that we want to respond to whatever it is that is happening. We don't really need to necessarily blame our genetics or the environment around us. And what I am thinking is the fact that actually there is a solution to whatever problems that one may have. It doesn't necessarily mean that if ever you can't change a certain thing, then that's where it ends. No, you can actually change how you think about that thing or how you view that thing. And yeah, with that being said, just take charge of how you perceive things, and yeah, let's see how that goes. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for joining me. You can find this video on YouTube, and you can engage with me in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.